What's going on, guys? We're gonna get a lot more personal. I'm gonna start showing my face as well since I'm getting serious with these videos. The camera's a little short. I apologize for the angle, but nice to meet you guys. I am Junior from PNP Customs. You guys will be seeing me here if you guys do pull up. I am an employee here. So what we're gonna be doing today, as you guys can see, we have a 2018 Toyota Highlander. It's been getting incredibly cold here in New Jersey. That's where we're located. So what this client needs, he has like a custom grille, custom headlights, no, custom tail lights. He's got like a red interior, like he's got this like car jacked out to the max. What he's missing is a remote starter. So we're gonna be installing a 410 EVO-ALL Toyota 6T harness. When I say T harness, I mean that the T harness that I bought, the module I bought for the client, is specifically made for his vehicle, meaning I don't have to cut any wires. The benefit of that is that we don't have to like risk any short circuits in the future. There's like no tape connections. It's simply plug for plug. So every plug I take out, according to the diagram, I plug it into the T harness, and that's just it. No cutting wire needed. I do have to program it, but it's very easy. So I'm gonna be guiding you guys on the process of how to install it on a Toyota Highlander. This is a 2018, but I believe the generation is from 2014 to 2020. Don't quote me though, I believe. So let's get to installing it. Now I'm not gonna give you guys like a direct walkthrough just because most of the stuff is pretty simple. See these grayed out wires? Those are the ones you have to cut. You isolate them because they won't be used. And the ones that are lit up, you don't even have to touch those because those are already integrated into the T-harness. Same thing here. It tells you to isolate the two wires that are not in the T-harness. And then the rest are just in the T-harness itself. So when you have everything ready, it should look like something like this. All right. You want to wrap everything with factory tape. You see I have no loose wires. I have one wire just because I do have to tap into the push and start button, but other than that wire, you can zip tie plug A. Why? Well, it says because plug A doesn't get used. So really you're only plugging in two plugs, this plug, and one wire, and that's it. Your remote starter works. What we're going to be installing here specifically on this Toyota Highlander is a phone app remote starter standalone. So I'm going to be using this T-harness with the My Car phone app module. So I'll be guiding you guys on how to disassemble the panels and getting access to those plugs. But the first thing we're going to do is that since we're working with the ECU, I want you guys to unplug the battery so you don't get any codes on the dash. Sheesh, look at that red interior I was telling you guys about. That is absolutely beautiful. Looks good on a Toyota Highlander, by the way. So what we're going to be starting off with is we're going to remove this panel. Very simple. Get a popper panel. Don't use a flathead just because you'll probably scratch something. Look, for example, it looks like they had to take this panel off because they wanted to work on here. Do you see how it's marked up? That is because they use some kind of metal tool and it bends the plastic. So when you use plastic on plastic, it's actually harder for it to bend. See how easy that is? So just remove that. And now we can work our way. Let's remove this next. All right, I lied. So don't touch this yet. You're not meant to do anything there. You're meant to work your way up. So let's start from down here. I think here with your hand, you can pretty much work with it. I'm sorry for the lighting. Let me try to fix the lighting here. Much better. So I'm pretty sure with your hand, you can pretty much pull this off. Oh, it's already loose there, see? I guess they had to also take this dash out in order to work because you can see how it's loose over there. There's supposed to be like a screw or something. Just make sure you remove that. I don't know what it's meant to be there, but just make sure you remove that. All right, and then once you remove this panel here, you're going to be met with a 10mm. So you're going to go ahead and remove that. All right, and then now on the underside of this panel, you're going to see Phillips screws. You're going to go ahead and remove those. Remove all of them. I believe it's 3 in total. That way this little panel here falls down. All right, so now that you got those Phillips out of the way and the 10mm, what you got to do is you got to get behind this little panel here and pull towards you. Not to the side, but to you. And then doing that, it'll come loose. And then with your other hand, maybe we can pull this out a little more. Oh, yeah, that's better. You can probably stick your hand in here and pull it out as well. There you go. See that? You got to give it a real tug right there. And then work your way around. You're going to do the same thing on this other side. Right here, you're going to stick your popper panel in the seam and then pry upwards. That way this comes down. Or maybe I can do it with my finger. That way I can show you guys how to do it. No, I can't. So I'm definitely going to need a popper panel here. So just make sure this whole thing is loose, all right? Nice. And then once you get that popped out of the way, you will see these connections. You have to remove all of the connections that are holding onto this panel. That way you're able to work a lot more easier. So I'd recommend that you take a picture of all these connections to see which one was connected to which female. That way you don't make a mistake installing it back together. So remove all those plugs. How do you remove them? You push down on the tab here and it comes off very easily. All right, so when I popped the panel out of the way, unplugged everything, I did find that this client already has a remote starter here. This looks like a 3-time lock remote starter, but that's not what the client wants anymore. He wants to be able to control it through his phone. And on top of that, I don't work with this company, so I will have to remove. This isn't plug and play, so it's wire by wire, hard wire, you can say. I will have to clean up his wiring and then install my remote starter on top of that. You cannot install a remote starter on top of another remote starter. You're going to give the vehicle some issues, so make sure that everything is factory before you start installing your work. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, but let's finish up with the disassembly. You're almost done. Remove this 10mm, this 10mm, this 10mm, and then that 10mm down there. That way the airbag, this whole airbag compartment falls down, and then now everything is free. You can stick your hand in there, you can work very freely. Before I start cleaning everything up, before I let you guys go and proceed into the future, I'm going to show you guys also how to remove the steering wheel panel here, the underside. You just need to remove the underside part of it. The top part can stay there. If you move the steering wheel to the left and right, you will find a hidden Phillip, right? So remove this one, then turn the wheel the other way, remove that one. All right, and then after you remove those 2 screws, all that's left is you just have to pry the panel because it's held in with clips. As I did prior, you also want to move the steering wheel up, like out. It just helps a lot more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pry inwards here. What I like to do is I always love to pry where the switch is at. So you stick your panel in there. You see how it's getting loose on the bottom? Well, you can't see because the lighting is terrible. But there you go. Just falls down. Clips. Let me show you. It's all just clips. There's nothing else holding onto it, right? So just remove that, and then now you have access to what you're going to need is the steering lock plug. Don't worry, I'll show you every single plug they're going to connect. You're not going to be alone in this. But first, I got to clean up this hard wire remote starter first. For you guys, it was a millisecond. For me, it was a whole 30 minutes of just rewiring and making sure everything is factory. So I removed the old remote starter, so now we can get to installing the new one, the StandAlone phone app remote starter. So let's start by installing the T-harness. You guys may seem a little scared, thinking it's going to be a little complicated. No, don't worry about it. If anything, I'm going to just go step by step in the video. So let's play a game of monkey see, monkey do. I have my iPad here to tell me exactly what to do. That way I don't have to keep walking to the computer. So what we're going to start off with, let's start off with this one. So with plug B. All right, so the T-harness is going to have the plugs labeled. See, this is A. We already went over A, that's not going to be used. Maybe this one. Let me see. I have to be prepared. So this is B right here. This is B. The label fell off, but this is B. All right. So what you're going to do, since it's a T-harness that has a male and female, as I said, disconnect the battery. That way you don't get any codes in the dash. What you're going to be disconnecting is this one, the one in the middle. All right. So the way you take it off is that it has a tab, right? It has a tab. You push down and then you pull the plug, and voila. All right. So this is the plug that you need, the one in the middle. So we're going to connect the female here, and then we're going to connect the male back to where the original one was connected. All right, and then look, that's how it's supposed to look. And then the male, you plug that one back in to where you took the original one out, and it's going to click in. Plug and play. And make sure it clicks. There you go. All right, the next plug we're going to be connecting is plug 1. Oops, what happened? There you go. And that would be what's happening? The steering wheel column. See that one? So that plug is, let's go ahead and look for it. It's that one right there. So it also, same idea, it has a tab. Push down, pull out. See how simple that is? All right, and then you're gonna plug that into, let's see, this one, the skinny one. All right, so I'm doing this with one hand, so it's a little hard, but you just push it in. There you go. And then the male, push that one in. All right, almost done, almost done. All right, so it's just 2 plugs, and then finally, all you have to do is just tap into the push to start button. But I already ran the wire. See, it's because since he already had a remote starter, prior to this install, they already tapped into that same wire because they hardwired. So instead of cleaning that wire, I just left it loose. That way I can connect mine to there. Silly me, I didn't tell you guys what wire it was. Just because it's connected for me already doesn't mean it's connected for you guys. So what you're gonna be connected on the push to start button, it's one of those plugs that have that pin at the top, that tab, you push it down and then you can pull it outwards. But what you're gonna be tapping into, you're not gonna cut it, you're not gonna cut the wire. You're gonna tap into the first pin, which would be a purple color on a 2018 Toyota Highlander. Colors may vary depending on year and packages. And a quick tip, before you start mounting everything together, I'm not done yet. I'm still, as you can see, I'm still organizing my cables. But I'm halfway done. And you want to secure the T-harness in a way where it doesn't stop the client from moving the steering wheel. So you can see that I can push the steering wheel up and down and the harness isn't bothered by it. It would be bad for you to zip tie it somewhere where it's stationary, and when the steering wheel moves, it'll either rip and break the T-harness, or the client himself won't be able to move the steering wheel. So make sure to watch out for that. Move the steering wheel up and down to make sure that it's not bothering the client. All right, so let me just finish up on this organizing my cables, and I'm gonna show you guys the final product. I almost forgot, you do have to program this with a software. All right, so if you don't have the software, you're pretty much screwed. So on the installation guide, you have all these settings that you need to turn on, and on top of that, you also need to turn on these settings as well, D3 and H2. But I'll do those for you. I'll guide you along those. So what we're gonna be doing first is the D110. Let's go D1. I'm pretty sure I already put them all, but let me see. I'm just double checking. Yep. So D1 is turned on. Good here. And then C1 needs to be turned on. So we're gonna go to C1. C1 is also turned on. We're good there. And then H1 to H6. So I'm gonna go down here. And then that would be the one that we're looking for. So if we go to, it says it needs to be on H2. So we're gonna put H2 14.2. So everything is good here. You also want to set it up for your exact vehicle. This is a Toyota Highlander 2018. And after that, you just save options. Give it a couple seconds. Now we can go program it into the vehicle. All right, and then this is how you program it. This is all the way at the bottom of the installation guide. So what it says is, I can tell you guys what you guys have to do, and then I can show you guys afterwards. So it says you have to press and hold the power button while plugging in the data plug, which would be the small black one, and then release it when it's on blue. Then you plug in all of your other harnesses. After you plug in all your harnesses, you turn on the ignition twice. I mean, you turn on the ignition, so that's touching the button twice. First is accessory, and then the second one would be ignition. All right, and then you turn it off, and it's gonna flash blue 3 times. And then after it flashes 3 times, it's gonna flash yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red. After it starts flashing yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, you can now disconnect the 410 bypass, and then now you can take it back to the computer and then plug it into your interface to do the decryptor. And you can use this as a guide on how to connect the RF kit, aka the Marcall module. So you have the blue female and then the black male, connect that. Remember, this is the 01 harness, and then you connect the blue female to the blue male, and then voila, that's all you have to do. Now all you have to do is just stick this somewhere where it looks up above. I preferably like to install it somewhere above here, inside, but above the air vent. And then all that's left is just to organize and put everything back together. All right, so now that we got everything armed in there, we can now showcase, finally, the good part of the installation is showcasing, making sure that everything works. So this is a 2018 Toyota Highlander. This is the My Car Controls phone app. We're testing it on a tablet, but don't worry, it's supposed to be on your phone. After we are done testing it, we're going to send it over to the client's phone. But yeah, so this is a 2018 Toyota Highlander. We're going to be showcasing it so we can lock the vehicle. Instant reaction, you can see it also confirms it, so that way if you're like, oh yo, did I lock my car, it'll tell you door's been locked, and then you can unlock the vehicle. Check that out. And then it also confirms it as well. You can also turn it on. Look how instant that is. It's gonna turn on the vehicle. So let's talk about what's the benefit of getting a My Car Controls. The My Car Control phone app, or any kind of phone app to remote starter, the benefit is that the signal is through satellite. So as long as you have data on your phone, you can turn on the vehicle. What that means is that your car can be in freaking California and you're here in New Jersey, and you should be able to, you know, lock, unlock, turn on the vehicle. And on top of that, we can also turn it off. Let's turn it off. There you go. It also has a GPS tracker, so it's kind of like a security system built into it. So it's going to tell us exactly where we're at. That is where PMP Customs is located, 180 East Railway, Patterson, New Jersey. And it also shows you the voltage. And you also get the benefit of, you know, having it on your phone. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to pull out your key fob. Of course, you have to have the key fob on you when you're going to, like, you know, move the vehicle. You can't just switch it into drive with the remote starter. You have to have the vehicle on you. That's part of the security measure. That way, even if you turn it on, nobody's able to steal the vehicle. But yeah, that's how it works. That is you can lock again. That is pretty much a quick gist on how that stuff works. This is universal, so it's not only for Toyotas. We can install this on Acuras, Hondas, Chryslers, Jeeps, whatever kind of car. The My Car Controls will work on it.